If ever your life could be a true crime podcast episode, then this podcast is for you. We're about to embark on a roller coaster of emotions, insights, survival, and stories about escape. So buckle up and let the journey begin.
Are you going to sing?
Maybe. Welcome into the EscapePod, everybody. I'm Julie.
What's the Nightmare Before Christmas?
I don't know.
This is Halloween.
I have not seen that movie.
Okay. You haven't?
I haven't.
Oh, you've lived a sheltered life. No,
I
it's a really good.
Is it good?
Movie.
Okay, is it scary?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just it's like Christmas but with Halloween characters. So it's a little dark, but it's not scary. It's not like a horror film. It's just really cool, like visually. And of course, Danny Elfman writes the music, and yeah.
So I'm Julie. That's
I'm Charity.
And this is the EscapePod, a part serious, part hilarious podcast, and part creepy one
today.
Little bit creepy today.
Yeah,
we're going creepy.
We're escaping ghosts today.
Oh,
and
I don't know why
Julie
she's
hates this stuff, so this one's going to be
me.
enjoyable.
I already have the heebie-jeebies, and all she did was show me a photo.
It was a creepy photo, though.
It was kind of a creepy photo.
So that's what I'm escaping. Is we went on a ghost tour this weekend in Deadwood, and it delivered.
That's interesting.
I cannot figure out what that thing was in our pictures, and it's
Yeah.
two different cameras, all in the same spot, same shape thing from two different people, and it's. I don't have an answer for that one.
And I have to say, it doesn't really look like the ghost of Seth Bullock.
No.
Who is rumored to be haunting that
and I've seen
particular
some
place.
photos. Like, this tour guide was really good, and he had, from all the years of doing this, they have quite a library of ghost images captured, even of horses, of people from different decades, not just all old-timey Deadwood, but older from us. Really remarkable stuff. And you have to really, really look. So this thing was so solid. That's why it's either not a ghost.
Weird.
I don't know. There are other entities, but it was creepy. And we weren't creeped out at the time. We're in bed later looking at all the pictures, and I'm like, what is that? What is that? And then I got everybody in on the text string trying to figure it out. And they keep saying, someone's just squatting in front of you. I'm like, there was nobody in front of me. Well, whose hand is that? It's not my hand, because my hand is holding the camera.
Yeah.
These were not my hands, but it's wild.
It is weird.
There's a very obvious hand there on a pole that was in my personal space. Like, this person, if there were a person, would have been right on top of me. And there was no person.
Did you feel anything?
It was already chilly under there because it was, the temps were dropping that night pretty good. And it was...
Well, and you're basically in a basement.
Yeah, out under the sidewalk. So it's not insulated or anything. But no. But it didn't feel malevolent or foreboding. And we all know I'm very empathic and feel stuff. And you're going to learn a lot more about that today. But so no, it didn't feel like... dark or dangerous or scary or anything. It was just a little bit of something, and I just attributed it to the chill in the air because of where we were at. It wasn't insulated. It was quite chilly. But
I am not okay with that.
Yeah. But now we're going to go back and stay at the Bullock. We've never stayed there.
Neither have I.
Well, I'll let you know how it goes.
You know where I stay?
At your parents' house.
Casa del Oberlander. Which is fantastic.
And not haunted, probably.
Not to my knowledge. Haven't had any unique experiences. No. Nope.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb today and say Julie's trying to escape me because she dreads this topic.
I kind of do. Although, I'm okay. I will start off by saying I haven't had any of the experiences that others I have worked with have had, in this building. I haven't had any experiences in the old buildings that I worked in Deadwood back in the day. So maybe just because I'm not into it, I also don't I'm not kind of open to experiencing those things. I also will say, though, I don't think there's a huge gap in the universe between what we know as the physical world and what we might think of as the supernatural world. Like, I believe in guardian angels.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in, that there's good and evil and on all levels. So I'm not discounting what other people experience, but I just haven't had those same experiences.
We had, I'm not going to call this person out in case this is not cool to be sharing, so no names or anything, but somebody that I know, when he did his first Sundance, he is Lakota, and he came back and he shared this story with me after he had done this. And that's what was imparted onto me from him sharing the story, was that it was so close. He saw people that have gone before him, ancestors and whatnot, and how thin that veil was. And it was it was a really beautiful experience for him to share that with me. And so it's like, I know it's there. And some people are just more sensitive than others, even without intending to be. So you're going to hear a wide array of things that have just happened in my life. And I'm going to share some audio with you today of a couple things that we've actually been able to capture. One from many years ago. I don't even think I was 30 years old yet.
Ooh.
And I still have it. So I was able to edit that recording, like cut it down because it was quite long, got it in there, chopped it down so you can just hear the part, and I'll tell you the story there, and then one from right in this building. So it's going to be a combination of story time and show and tell, and it should be a wild time, just in time for Halloween. Spooky season.
Heebie-jeebies. Go for it. What are you starting with?
Well, I guess the first one is I've kind of had these weird supernatural experiences kind of at all stages of my life, even as a young child. And either I am doing something to the physical world outside of my conscious awareness, or ghosts are real. One of those two
one
things
or the
has
other.
happened. Yeah, scientifically, one of those two things is the most likely answer. I don't really care either way. I don't really pay too much attention. I don't really seek it out, with the exception of said earlier ghost tour. It's the first ghost tour I've ever been on in my life. So, yeah.
Knowing you, that kind of surprises me.
Yeah, I don't seek it out, but I do like even when I was a little kid, like the mysteries of the unknown and stuff, like the books, like all kinds, like Easter Island and Stonehenge and ghosts and all Bermuda Triangle. I was fascinated by all that kind of a thing. So, but again, there's just too many reference points in my life to dismiss the possibility entirely.
Okay.
So the first one I remember, I was around 5 years old, either just shy or had just turned, just getting ready to start kindergarten. And I'd had a fight or been assaulted, however you want to word it, with my father, and was outside of the home now to kind of, lick my wounds and be by myself and let him cool off. So I'm sitting in a field, like a side yard, but it was quite big, next to my house. I'm living in Turkey at the time. And here's what I remember. It's like a beautiful, bright day. I'm sitting in this field, and there's little, they weren't tall, but like in that country, there are these little teeny tiny flowers that look like honey, what we would know as honeysuckle.
Okay.
They're really miniature.
Oh.
And so I'm pulling apart these little flowers and like sucking the nectar out of the so that this is my own little world. Nobody else is there. And I never saw anybody, but I remember having a mostly one-sided conversation with somebody. So you mentioned guardian angel, like I don't know who it was, ancestor, ghost, whatever, but they were trying to help me make sense out of this pattern I was in with my dad. Mm-hmm. And I remember I didn't understand the terminology at the time, but I've always inherently known what it meant. And they were talking about breaking these familial cycles. Mm-hmm. And so it took from birth till I was 22 years old to break that cycle and make that kind of a thing stop. But I never forgot it. So I always carried that with me when things got hard. And I was just like, okay, it's going to get worse before it gets better, but it's going to get better, and we're going to break this cycle. And of course, knowing now that I have two children that have never been abused and are never going to abuse their own children. Like, that's pretty successful. So.
Agreed.
Another fun one, this is more recent. When we were in our old offices downtown in that historic Rose building, there was a single person bathroom down the hallway from our offices. So we didn't have an ensuite bathroom. Only did it to me. Only me. But the door would lock with like a simple deadbolt. But there were times when I'm trying to leave the damn bathroom and that thing will not open. I took it apart one day. I brought my tools. I took it apart. I'm like, this thing must be faulty. There's nothing wrong with the mechanism. There's nothing wrong with it. And same bathroom. Like, did it ever happen when you were there?
No, I remember it happening to you.
To me. Okay.
How many times did it happen to you? At least twice. I think.
More than twice.
Okay.
But then it got real fun because, so then I'd be stuck in this bathroom. And I considered like leaving something in the bathroom to break open the glass pane in the door. Like if I had to get out, I started bringing my phone to the bathroom with me so that I could call Jody.
I took my phone to the bathroom with me because of the fact that it happened to you.
Now, keep in mind too, it's a pretty decent sized bathroom for like no shower or anything, just a sink and a toilet. And so there's quite a bit of distance between the toilet and the sink. I could not reach the sink if I were on the toilet, right? Okay, and this happened twice where the water would just turn on. I'm on the toilet, the water turns on, and I'm like, are you flipping kidding me? And now I'm thinking like, I can't see anything, but something's in between me and the door, and it's using the water. And so that happened, a couple of times. And then finally one day, I'm just like, listen, I've had enough. You might think this is funny. I've kind of had it. Just this needs to stop. You've had your fun. Do it with other people. I'm done. And I don't think it happened again. But I just...
That's crazy.
Like, quit locking me in the damn bathroom.
Casper listened.
Yeah. But...
He did have his fun, though.
Yeah. And I don't remember ever having to call for help and say, somebody please come get me out of here. But...
Yeah, you always got yourself out. But it was like I remember once you were like, it took a while before you...
It was a while.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me? And I didn't. That's when I didn't have the phone.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, and it would turn.
But it wouldn't open.
And then again, when I took that thing apart, it was fine.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and it never did it to anybody else. And now if that was the only thing, it's like, okay, all right. Sometimes things slip. It was probably whatever. But the water, and it was a water thing. Like it's not, you have to manually turn the thing on. So I'm just like.
Yeah, it wasn't like, because I do think sometimes sensors go bad in things, and with more modern pieces like that. But that was not the style of.
No, ma'am.
No.
It wasn't.
But
I never felt like foreboding or dangerous or scared. I was just pissed. I'm like, I have a lot of work to do.
Quit
locking me in the bathroom. Like I'm enough already. So. So that stopped after that. Okay, so this one's fun. This next one, I call this one the meditating ghost.
Okay,
so here's some backstory. So many, many years ago, I was a certified life and business coach. And I had clients all over the place, several other countries, all over the U.S., Canada. And one of my clients was a television producer in Canada. And there were meditations that I would do with him that he wanted to be able to do anytime. So he came up with the idea. He's like, what if we produce a CD? Then I can just have it. You can sell it. I can have it, whatever. And I'm like, okay. And so he gave me all the instructions on how to complete a soundproof booth at home. And he sent me the equipment. And then we had a file transfer, whatever, online. This was really old technology because this was, oh my God, 25 years ago. It's a long, long time ago. So, I'm like getting things recorded, pulling it off the device, transferring it to him online because you couldn't send the files. And it was just, he did all the music in the background. So I did none of that. I just did the raw meditation audio. He calls one day and he goes, did you have anyone else in the studio with you? I'm like, no. Did this? Kids were at school. I can't remember. Sierra must have been at school. But no. I don't even know if I had Alec yet. I can't remember. And he's like, okay, I need you to listen to this. And he played this for me. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're going to hear my young little voice. It's kind of funny. Be sure to remove your watch and your shoes. Take a moment to seat yourself in a comfortable meditation pose and begin breathing deeply in through your nose and out through your mouth in a rhythmic fashion. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Look at your face. Yeah, and I'm like, I swear to God. I mean, because I'm still talking. There's nobody else in that room, but they're doing what I'm telling them to do.
I am not okay with that. Because you told me about it, but I've never heard it.
Yeah.
And so it surprised
She's
me.
jumping out of her chair.
It surprised me how loud it was.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like, it's probably you, Charity, and he's just not. But it is clearly not
He's like,
you.
I can't edit this out. Like, you need to do it again. But he's like, okay, well, you have a ghost. I'm like, son of a bitch. Yeah, but again, I mean, I never felt, and I do pick up on like things where they feel unsafe or, you know, whatever. Didn't notice a thing, not a thing. So when I heard that, I mean, full body chills. I'm like, what the heck?
You weren't in like an old house though, were you? Or were you maybe?
I mean, it was built in the early 70s, so not super old.
Well, somebody else
Maybe
lived there.
maybe,
yeah.
but
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, harmless.
Yeah.
But weird.
Yep, so I had to record that one again.
Did he do it again?
Yeah. Oh, no. He didn't do it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
We assume it's a he.
It sounds
does
like a guy.
kind of
I
sound
don't
like a
know
guy.
why. That was like, when I heard it too, I was like, that was a man, bodiless man, sitting in my studio booth. Like, it was
Meditating.
weird. Meditating. I don't know who it was, though. There's no one I'd lost recently that would have been like,
Made sense, right?
yeah. No, nothing made sense for either one of us or anyone in the family. So, but he thought, like, did you have anyone in there with you? I promise, no, I didn't. Okay, I need you to listen to this.
Okay, your client wasn't playing a joke on you, was he?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Because he would have had those capabilities.
No, he was baffled. He was sure I had someone there.
That's
With
funny.
me. Because he's like, I need you to listen to this. Like, how do you explain this? And I'm like, I got nothing.
That is weird.
It was a ghost. So, yeah. Okay. This is a little bit of a longer story. My kids still talk about this because it impacted the whole family.
Okay.
So this was 2006.
Okay.
5, 6-ish. Okay, so I was about 35-ish at the time. My husband and I were living apart. He was still in Minnesota with the house. I do recognize on that recording, there's something that I sounded like a Minnesotan. Did you catch that?
I didn't.
I don't remember what I said, but
I
I'm
was
like,
waiting for the meditating ghost.
There was one of those O's, and I was like, oh my God, I used to talk like that. My daughter does now. It makes me laugh. Anyway, so he was still in Minnesota trying to sell the house. I was already here with the kids. And this was like during that whole Tim decided he wanted to be a cop thing that we all know how that one worked out. So he would kind of come back and forth to Rapid City every other week. And one of those visits coincided with our anniversary. I think it's maybe our 11th anniversary or so at the time. So we were going to Jake's in Deadwood. That's where we were going to celebrate. That was our thing. So that's what's still open back then.
Yeah.
That's where you worked, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Way back before that, a few years
yeah,
before that.
Yeah. So we decided we were going to take the scenic route. And so we were living in like Rockerville area at the time.
Oh, okay.
And so we went up that way. We're, detouring through the hills. And I was starting to get a headache. And at that time, still to this day, caffeine is the thing that kills my headaches.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, let's go down Rimrock, hit Johnson Siding so I can grab a tea because I'm starting to get a headache and I don't want our anniversary to be a dud because I'm not feeling well. So we went down, and on the way there, as we're rounding one of those big major bends, I could see the remnants of what was very evidently a motorcycle crash. It was our anniversary falls over rally time.
Okay.
And so it was like off the highway, is kind of a mess. There were people stopped in the other direction, and first responders were just starting to get there.
Mm.
And so already just me being an incredible empath, I'm already feeling like anytime it's an animal, it's a human, it doesn't matter. It's difficult for me and impacts me quite a bit. But we got through that, made our way to Johnson Sighting. I got my tea. I was pretty upset and I didn't see anything like brutal or gory or anything. I felt it. I felt it. And so I was pretty rattled. So we stayed there for a minute or two, just like kind of calming me down.
Okay.
Finally get back in the car so we can make it in time for our dinner reservations. So now we're heading back the way we came. And there are now first responders on the side of the road kind of guiding traffic. And I made eye contact with, I'm guessing, a paramedic or firefighter on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of, you know how you just look at someone, you ask the question with your eyes,
mm-hmm.
and he just kind of shakes his head like,
mm-hmm.
no, he didn't make it. And I'm like, oh, So I just knew. And I knew that this person on the motorcycle did not make it.
Mm-hmm.
And having been a rally brat where I lived for the rally when I was young, we've talked about some of those stories. And I had a very good friend who died way too young because of the result of a motorcycle accident. I think it just hits me.
Mm-hmm.
So the rest of the night I was a little off. My husband left a couple days later, and it was weird because after that moment, when he was gone, I missed him so much.
Mm.
And then as soon as he would come back, I wanted nothing to do with him.
Huh.
Like nothing to do with him. I couldn't stand the sight of him. I couldn't. My daughter, we were talking about this last night, and she said, yeah, didn't you kick him out and make him sleep on the couch? I'm like, I don't remember ever doing that. But I don't remember a lot of this phase because it was so dark. And then things that were happening. My daughter, she's the older of the two. They're 6 years apart, and she was probably 11 at the time, thought we were going to get divorced. Like it was that bad. It just made no sense. And so one of the things that didn't make sense, anytime I was driving, I would space out and nearly veer off the left side of the road. It was always the left side.
Ooh.
And it's just like I didn't care. Like I know my kids are in the car and I'm just going to drive off the side of the road. And it freaked the kids out a couple of times. Like I'd feel really sad. I'd feel like ending it. And there was nothing wrong with me. Like I was not depressed. I wasn't nothing. There was nothing mentally going on with me, but it was only when my husband was around. And it usually was like at high speeds. So there was definitely a pattern that I was aware was emerging, and my daughter would mention it.
Okay.
So I'm aware of it, but I don't understand it yet. And then one day, and I don't remember my kids being with me, but Sierra says, yep, both of us were with you. And so we randomly went out and purchased a red electric guitar. I don't play the guitar. Look at my nails. I mean, there's no way.
Yes, it would be a challenge.
And I've always had long nails.
Yeah.
And so I buy this guitar, and I could actually play the guitar. And now I'm starting to, and I would just zone out and be on this guitar for hours, and everybody's going like, what the holy hell is happening to Charity? Like, this is weird.
That is weird.
So things got really tense between me and my husband. And we were on a walk one day, and he's just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, what? Because the sight of him, it was repulsive. And we are the closest two people. Like, we have a fantastic relationship.
Yeah.
So none of it checked. None of it checked. And we were talking about this last night because I can't quite remember. I think he found the answer for me. He thinks I started doing research and finding the answer. But either way, one of us came across the obituary of the man who died on Rimrock Highway that day. Mm-hmm. And in the picture, he had a red electric guitar.
Weird.
And had quite a record and probably hated police. And now my husband was in the process of becoming a police officer. I had my own issues with police, but not my husband, right? And so there were all these things that kind of tracked. So I think I got hijacked. I think this guy was like, nope, I screwed up and wrecked my bike, and he was drunk and the whole deal, but not going to let it go. And here comes I just happened to be along on the road or whatever. But it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. The guy hated cops. He played the guitar. All of that was him. And so at the time, I had a teacher that I was working with who is what she calls a sensory science specialist. So she's a psychic. She does a lot of like really interesting work, has some really high profile, like I won't name drop, but like really high profile people that she works with. And so she was like, yep, here's what's going on. And so it validated everything. And so I was able, with her help, to get him to move on and quit messing around with me. Like, I don't care where you go, but just get the hell out of here. And then everything was fine. Everything immediately went back to normal.
From here on out, I shall call you Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, no.
Like the character in Ghost. Who would be the ghost?
I don't remember that.
Oh, my gosh. Go watch the movie.
I did see the movie. My mom, in her infinite wisdom, set me up on a blind date one time. Moms should never do this. Just by the way. So she was working at a gun manufacturing company.
Okay.
Some nice guy there. And it's like, it doesn't really track because of like the shithead that she wanted me to get back together with. It doesn't track. This guy was a nice guy, which obviously meant it wasn't going to work. And so, and that was our first date. And we went to that movie, and I'm a crier at movies.
Oh.
So I'm like, son of a bitch. So I think I just kind of like started blocking out, like, I mean, I can tell you, what's his name? Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore. That's about all I can tell you.
Movies might be the worst first date ever.
It was bad.
Right?
Yeah.
Because what do you do? It's so uncomfortable.
At least there weren't text messages back in those days where someone could kind of stay pinging you all the time. It was just like, okay, this was a nice night. See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had to like actually pick up a landline and call somebody. So if you have to put in a lot of effort, you're going to quit pretty quick. So.
All righty.
Hey, here's a happy little thing.
I know, I saw that.
We're packed at Homebrew. By the way, for those of you who are listening locally, we lost our manager back of seven weeks ago.
I feel like it wasn't that long. Was it that long?
It was 6-7 weeks.
Oh.
It's been a while.
Okay.
He says it's packed.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yay. They're doing great.
Okay, so Biker Dude moved on.
My husband got his wife back. We did not get divorced. He did not have to sleep on the couch anymore. And I still have this guitar I don't know what the hell to do with. I think I gave it to my son.
I was going to say, that was my other question, was what happened to the guitar?
He has it. He's a brilliant stringed instruments player. He can play anything.
So he can do it.
I just gave it to him, yeah.
Huh.
No, it was weird. Weird.
It is weird. It's a little bit funny.
And then, of course, that trajectory of going off the road to the left, that's what he had done.
Yeah.
That was his path. So, yeah.
I feel the pain of seeing I did not witness the crash itself, but I came upon a crash once. The person was not dead, I think, at that moment, but they did end up passing away. And my thing, having grown up in Deadwood and not very far from the hospital, during the motorcycle rally, you just hear sirens all the time.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's very common. And I just grew up thinking, I hope I never come up on a motorcycle accident. I hope I never come up on a motorcycle accident. Like the thought of seeing that kind of a crash, I just couldn't imagine it. I didn't want to ever have to see it in person. So the one that I saw, there was an ambulance there. So it didn't look real serious at the moment, but it turned out, I learned after the fact, that there was an ambulance there only because I think it was going back to the little town where it comes from, probably from the hospital, and it happened upon the wreck too.
Oh.
Like it was the closest, but they needed more than just the one ambulance. And it was a really freak accident. It turned out there had been a truck that was stalled on the side of the road with like a flat tire or something, nobody in it. And a motorcyclist had lost control, ended up off his bike. This is on the interstate. So at that point, you're going 60-ish miles an hour, and ended up hitting the back of that parked truck. And I was on my way to a live shot doing the news in Sturgis.
I could never have done that job.
Well, I didn't do it very well that day. So I did eventually I was late for the press conference that I was headed to. And because I was late, I said, is there just somebody who can talk to me after, is there still somebody around? And it was the then sheriff of the county at the time. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm late. There was a motorcycle accident. And I was a hot mess. Aww. To the point, we did the interview and it was okay. And I think I still did the live shot. It just probably wasn't my best. But the next day, this is when you think people don't have a heart. The next day, my boss happened to be the one who went to Sturgis, and the sheriff asked him, how's your reporter? Aww. Is she going to be okay? But I wouldn't look at the footage because I had pulled off the road way far away so that I wasn't in emergency responders' way. I pulled off. But I had called the station to say, I just saw this wreck. What do you want me to do? And they were like, well, do what you can from where you are. And so I had video. It didn't show anything gory because I was far enough away and I wouldn't do that anyway. Mm-hmm. But still people, because they saw the camera, motorcyclists going by were yelling at me and cursing at me for getting video. And I didn't even edit the video. I came back after my live shot at the early show that evening, and I came back and I handed the tape to somebody else, and I said, somebody else is going to have to edit that. But it's the thing, I still, I can see it in my head without trying. Yeah. Because it was a doozy. And the only saving grace that day was that I did not know. They don't come out usually with, information about fatalities or seriousness of a wreck for you almost need 24 hours. And so I did not know that day. I kind of still have the benefit of thinking maybe the person ended up being okay, but learned the next day that was not the case. But when you talk about passing a scene like that, whether the person jumps in the car with you and takes over your body for a few weeks or not, it's a pretty horrifying kind of thing, and it's something I still have
after
memories of for sure.
That, I have not. Well, I take that back. I was on a motorcycle once after that.
Right? It's not very enticing.
No, it's not. But what happened with them, they had just graduated high school. So let's see, I was 91. They were 89 and 90. Mm-hmm. And so it was I was a senior at the time that this happened. And coming back from Sturgis. And so there were two couples. A friend and then a couple, and someone from some other state, drunk, thinking they can do whatever they want during the rally because there's Wild West, whatever. No rules. Yeah, they don't apply to me. Was driving the wrong way on Sturgis Road with no headlights. And so by the time the car, he was right up on them by the time there was nowhere to get out of the way. So he took most of the impact. He was driving. And took most of the impact and died on impact. And then she got thrown into the ditch, and it was still so much impact that, her leg was hamburger. They had to try to pack it all together before they could even move her. It was really brutal.
My word.
She had a very long recovery journey after that, and I'm just I'm good. And I used to live for,
well, and the trauma, it's you survived it, but you have to live with the trauma of having survived it, for sure.
And then that funeral, this was the guy, everybody loved him. He was just friends with everybody. And so church was standing room only, cemetery. I've never seen so many people at a funeral in my life. It was really hard. So.
Okay. I can't keep going down that road.
Well.
No pun intended.
You got one more.
Okay.
More show and tell.
One more ghost story?
So this one, I don't have the story. I don't know how this child got here. I have theories. And we can talk about theories afterwards, but I'm going to play this for you. Well, wait, I should set it up a little bit. Okay, so we'll talk theories in a minute. But what's happening, this was a video. And in this video is one of my employees working at night in the building about 15 feet from where Julie and I are sitting right now in the EscapePod. And all of the buildings and grounds staff have radios just like our life safety staff do, just in case something's going on. And so he's working, and the sound that you just heard and will continue to hear is what he starts to hear. And so he kind of pulls the radio off of his belt, looks at it, and it starts making that noise again. And then he gets out his cell phone and starts recording it. And then in the video, you can see him go walk over to the water fountain and put the radio on the back of the water fountain, and he's still recording going, what the hell? Okay, and this is what he is hearing.
Because I know this former employee, it's really funny.
Here we go.
Daddy.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then he shut his radio off and said, I'm not going to listen to this tonight. I have a job to do. So the radio got shut off, and maybe he threw it and burned it and never turned it on again. But that's what he heard. And so my theory is that right around where we're sitting on the other side of this wall, the archaeology crew that was in this building ahead of us had a special room that was specifically for human remains.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of artifacts in this building. So my guess is something at some point hung around. But here's what you need to know about our radio system. It's a closed system.
Yeah.
You can't go like scan and plug in and hear what's going on our radios or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's a closed system, because my first thought was,
You're getting interference.
yeah, like
Something's-
there's
yeah.
law enforcement across the street or something. And nope, I learned that was not a possibility. And then, of course, the daddy, I'm like, this was after hours. There were no children, let alone other people in the building. It was literally just this janitorial staff. And that's what he caught.
Well, they were maybe calling out for him.
Yeah. Take me home with you. But we've had all kinds of creepy, spooky, ooky things going on this campus.
Although Chad, who has had his own experiences, did say the other day, he's like, I haven't had anything happen in a while. So we think maybe like the weirdness has left the building.
Maybe. I haven't had
never know.
anything. I did have the water thing happen to me one time here, but only one time.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know how. But that
Well,
could
was
have been
that a
fluke.
sensor one, though?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No,
I thought that one was.
no, it's the one in our
Okay.
the bathroom in our E-suite area.
Okay.
So no.
I didn't know that happened to you here. Well, whoever
I
follows
didn't get
you
locked in,
around,
But I do take my phone to the bathroom with me still, just in case.
whoever follows you around has really good personal hygiene.
Yeah.
They wash their hands a lot.
Yeah.
They're a germaphobe.
Good. I like ghosts like that.
This is what we've learned today.
Yeah.
Can we please take a break? And I'm going to shake off the heebie-jeebies.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll be right back on the EscapePod. Hey, listeners, did you know we are podcasting for a cause here in the EscapePod? Patron support benefits the One Heart campus in Rapid City, South Dakota, where we empower people to overcome crisis and achieve self-sustainability. To learn more, listen to our prologue episode all about One Heart or visit oneheartrc.org. Welcome back, everybody. You are in the EscapePod with Julie and Charity and potentially other
Yeah, I mean, we
people
have
we
two
can't
extra
see
chairs in
or
here.
hear.
Yeah. Hi. We should just do like, you know how our Native American friends have taught us to leave a spirit plate. Maybe we should just do
Yes.
something, and we'll ask Auntie Deb.
Yeah, there you go.
Auntie Deb? Auntie Deb?
Yeah, Auntie Deb. Auntie Deb emailed me the other day
Yeah.
about something completely unrelated, but it does go with this theme because we have an event coming up. She commented that she can't be there, so she said, I will be there in spirit. Get it? Spirit, Halloween, ghosts, got something along those lines. It made me chuckle
Yeah.
because
I bet she has some tips and tricks up her sleeve.
Yeah, right?
But yeah, I haven't noticed anything around here for
It's been a while.
For quite a while, yeah. Well, the biggest ones I remember, I didn't experience them, but my son did. So one of the summers he was home for college. He was at Homebrew that first summer that it opened. And that building used to house a veterinary medicine program. So students would learn how to become veterinary technicians. Was operated in that building for decades, like 30, 40 years at least. And so the first manager there had a Tibetan singing bowl, those big brass bowls that you run the thing around and it hums. And so she had this on her desk. You can't just like bump it and knock it over. It's not like it's got some
heavy.
heft to it. Yeah. And they were, and this office at the time was behind like where the kitchen is now.
Yeah.
So this was before the renovations. And so, Alex said he's working and all of a sudden that thing, you can hear this big crash and it's on the floor and no one else is there. And I'm like, cats do that. He's like, yeah, it could be a ghost cat because I'm sure some kitties probably died in that facility. You know, they got practiced on, they're sick and then just didn't make it or whatever. But yeah, so that happened. There was something else that happened in that building too that could have been reminiscent of animal ghosts, but I don't remember what it is now. But yeah, he was like, okay. No one was there. It can't just move by itself.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
Or someone really hated coffee. I don't know. Or Tibetan singing bowls. I don't know.
Kitty cat didn't cross the bridge like it was supposed to. The Rainbow Bridge.
The rebel cat.
Rebel cat sticking
rebel
around.
Cat, yeah.
What are you escaping to or where in the coming days? More ghost hunts.
Went to Homebrew because it reopened today after its hiatus for a while. And so I'm really happy to have something that has that desert pear flavor in it. So I'm escaping to finish that. I'm having dinner with a friend tonight because my husband's out of town and she's been traveling, so I haven't seen her for a while. So nothing too crazy, which is good because I'm still escaping from like record level. Like I think about how One Heart, like all the science that went into the One Heart model on helping people get out of crisis brain, which means getting people out of constant cortisol production because cortisol is like, it's a necessity, but it's also evil if you are sleeping and drinking and showering and just stewing in it constantly.
Right.
Well, I sure have been. And so I'm sitting there talking to a doctor today and I'm like, and my therapist is going to really hear this too, but it's like, build this model to do this for other people. And I am drowning in cortisol trying to protect it and protect the people that are going through it. Like something seems wrong with this picture.
Yeah.
But no, it's been crazy. And so I feel like I'm doing everything I can within my control to try to minimize the effects and like blew off a social function earlier in the week just because I just needed to take a bath and relax. And so I'm really, really trying to not try to do it all.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, I texted a friend on that note to be like, when are you available? Because she does massage therapy. And I'm like, I need you. And so I'm hoping one of those buzzes I heard is maybe her.
Ooh. And then also escaping to our soiree this weekend. I'm really excited.
Our very first one.
Julie decided she wanted to do 2 events this year.
I
didn't tell her she had to do these. She wanted to do these.
Nope.
And so she's in it now, baby.
Well, to be fair, to defend myself on that note, I would have only done one big one, but I have a wonderful person in my life who does a lot of races.
Yeah.
And so
it made sense.
she offered like, hey, we could do this and I can help you with this.
Yeah.
So yes. And so because I would not have done that one if I didn't have truly expert help in doing it.
It went really well. But I just remember when you said, Halloween themed, and I hate dressing up for Halloween.
Do you?
I do.
thought you liked it.
I don't.
Who am I thinking of?
I don't know. Chad
likes it.
Chad
probably Chad.
loves to dress up.
Okay.
So
I don't like dressing up.
I just hate it. And then, but I'm like, hey, if I'm going to do this,
You're doing it. You're
I'm going all in.
All right.
And so I am so excited about, I curated costumes, like figured out the pieces and went and hunted for those pieces and like went all out. And I always I love period dramas or, you know, even procedurals or whatever when they're in that like Victorian attire.
Okay.
Love how the men dressed.
Okay.
I'm like, man, how come women's fashion recycles constantly every couple of decades?
Yeah.
But they've never brought this back for men. But
Yeah.
men look sharp, you know, like the waistcoats and the.
Yeah.
And so I've got this outfit for my husband. He put it on, and I'm like, this is off of a romance novel book that I never read. But you look hot, man. So I'm excited.
There you go.
Anyway, and then Kim is gonna do my hair in the period too.
Okay.
So but
Okay.
it's- yeah,
Have you prepped your speech?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did.
I was just making sure.
Yeah. We all know I'll never stick to it, but I did prepare it. So
Okay.
yes.
Well,
I did my homework like a good girl.
It should be fun, and people will hear this after it's already over. We'll report back, but it should be a good time.
Yeah.
Tell the people how they can find us again here
Oh, yes.
in the pod.
We need more listeners and supporters.
Yeah.
Yeah, always, always, always. We're getting a lot of good feedback, and we really appreciate it, like sincerely appreciate it. So consider becoming a patron. You can join Patron and get behind the paywall and get some bonus content. We're working on more. And
to do that, it's escapepod.live. You actually have to go to the website, escapepod.live, to hit that patron button.
Yeah.
And it starts at $2 a month.
$2 a month.
So we have
5
people,
or 10.
I was going to say, we have people who do 2. We have people who do 10. You make the choice.
Yeah. And all of the proceeds go to support One Heart.
Yeah.
It's not going to Charity's Costume Fund, I swear. So, so please check it out. Please consider becoming a patron. Other ways you can support the show, rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. I was looking at, I always listen to podcasts in the morning before I work out while I'm doing my physical therapy stuff. And I noticed you can comment right on Spotify on an episode. So even that kind of a thing helps. You give us 5 stars. It helps other people find us. So just something that takes you literally 2 seconds can actually help us gain more exposure and then, continue to allow us to help the people that we're helping. If you want to reach out, tell us what you think of the show, just because at escapepod.live. Or if you have a story that we may consider sharing eventually, that'd be at escapeartist@escapepod.live.
We are closing the hatch on this hauntingly awesome edition of the Escape Pod. Remember, trauma may be inevitable. How you grapple with it is optional.
So stay resilient.
And keep laughing.
Happy Halloween, everybody.